So I thought maybe I'd go to New York, stay 6 months, and come back to Cleveland.
And I had never been away from home. I went to college in Cleveland.
I came to the city with $500 and a used Studebaker.
I expected to stay a couple of months and go back to Cleveland. And you know, when you come to New York, you can't go home again.
When I was a trainee in the research department of Bates & Company, every analyst could dump an industry on the new trainee. And a man who had everything that moved gave me the airlines because he thought they couldn't finance the jet planes when they were coming in. Jets arrived in 1957. I knew the industry. I had discrimination, but I found that I'd pick up my pencils and change jobs because I was being paid half of what some of the men were being paid for the same job.
There was no way that I was going to be a partner of a major Wall Street firm. I was a woman.
And one day I asked one of my clients, Jerry Sy, and I said, Jerry, what large firm can I go to and be paid equally? He said, you won't. Buy a seat. I don't think there's a law against it. So I took the Constitution of the New York Stock Exchange home, and he was right. I got the seat, and the rest is sort of history.
My application turned the street upside down. And they said, we've never had a woman apply. Nobody would dare to apply. I was creating something no one had ever done before. Some of the men thought a woman had no place on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. And yet there were men who bent over backwards because they saw I was serious and I was doing the job and I wasn't there to play around.
There were people that I didn't expect who helped me, and there's also a lot of hostility. You can't break a tradition that's 187 years old and have everyone love you.
And the first day I went into the luncheon club, people I knew very well, some of them would not even say hello to me. They were that angry. But 3 former chairmen came over and kissed me.
One of the governors said to me the day I joined, how many more are there behind you? Like I was going to lead a parade. For 10 years, I could say 1,365 men and me. So it was pretty slow. What I did find out is that when you change the status quo, not everyone's going to love you for it. I bought my seat on the stock exchange before the women's movement officially started. I think the women's movement has been great. We should be entitled to an opportunity to perform equally and be paid equally. But I don't want anything handed to me on a platter.
I went discount in 1975, and 2 years later, Governor Carey called me. I want a woman as superintendent of banks, and I would like you to be that person.
Tell us about your role as the superintendent of banking, and you had a nickname for that.
Yes, I said I was the first woman SOB, superintendent of banks. If I was dealing with the trader, every other word had to be a 4-letter word. So I learned that language and still use it.
We need the public because the public sponsors our new companies. They buy the stocks that become the Genentechs and the Xeroxes when they're over the counter in their small companies. So we're starting to see women breaking through on a corporate level. They have not broken through on Wall Street yet.
Do you think it's coming?
It's going to have to come because they can't miss all that great talent.
If we go back, the last 3 market breaks were caused by derivatives. I've got part of my testimony from 1988. I would like to see a daily report as to how much of the stock was shorted every day, not depend on a bunch of rumors flying around.
The stock market, our capital system, is a national treasure. It's the envy of the world. We raise more money here, more efficiently, cheaper than any place else in the world.
My personal goal is to get basic personal financial literacy into the schools. We have to feed that system and change it. That's what bothers me on a long-term basis.
Mickie was more than a trailblazer. She was a trail breaker. And 46 years after she shattered the glass ceiling, literally threw a brick at it, the firm that she started is still the only brokerage firm on the exchange with a national presence owned by a woman.
Because of Mickie, women now have a brighter, clearer path to follow as entrepreneurs and financial students and services. Mickie founded the Siebert Personal Finance Program. Business people have role models for honesty and ethics, and it's because of Mickie.
And push Mariel Siebert did to give women a seat at the testosterone traders table known as Wall Street, where the fairer sex was fairly shut out for nearly 2 centuries, until Mickie Siebert bought a seat at the table, and in 1967 became the first woman to land a seat on the New York Stock Exchange, and later had one of its member firms. But just because Mickie was in didn't mean that Mickie was welcome. One famous Mickie story is how she insisted a ladies' room be added to the trading floor next to the men's room, or she'd arrange herself for a portable toilet. Well, she got her room. Then there's the time Mickie was rebuffed at a famous men-only social club and told she couldn't take the elevator with the boys. So she stormed into the meeting and apparently wowed them enough that they all took the stairs with Mickie when they were done. For all the slights, Mickie would insist it wasn't so much as deliberate, as men in those days, well, were just being dumb. As she would later tell me, you don't have to bash heads if you can first get people to use their heads. Because for Mickie, it wasn't about your sex, it was about your attitude.